Well, NASCAR just lost one of its biggest stars for the next couple of weeks. Dale Earnhardt Jr. told the world he had a concussion in Sunday's Talladega 500, and it was the second concussion in the last 6 weeks. He had one also, he finally revealed, August 29th in that crash at Kansas Speedway, repaved, and he was doing the tire test out there. 40G hit in Kansas, 20G hit Sunday. The doctor says, sit it out for a couple of weeks. Ricky Craven, who knows something about concussions, says Junior has nothing to win or nothing to gain either this season, so we ought to sit out the rest of the season. Only 6 more races, and I'll tell you, you don't want to mess with concussions. They're dangerous things. Remember Neil Bonnet, Ricky Craven, Steve Parks, Ernie Irvin, we were talking to him today, Jerry Nadeau. You hit the old noggin, you've got some problems. NASCAR's problem is how to deal with this. There's no real test for a concussion. It's if you have headaches and you tell somebody, I've got headaches. Well, Dale Jr. had some headaches after that Kansas crash and didn't tell anybody. Tried to tough it out. After Sunday's crash, he toughed it out for a couple of days, and Tuesday finally went to Dr. Jerry Petty to have himself checked out, and all the tests came back okay. But he told the doctor, I just don't feel right. So the doctor sat him out until he starts feeling better. Dangerous thing, and NASCAR needs a better policy on this. They've worked hard at it, but basically, if you get knocked out, you should have to sit out. And if you have a concussion, you have to sit out too. The trouble is NASCAR's policy of substitute drivers. There is none. The guy who starts the race gets credit for the points. Doesn't matter how badly injured you are, you've got to start the race. We've complained about that for 20 years. There's a list of drivers that should never have gotten behind the wheel of a car, but NASCAR rules made them to keep points. If Dale Jr. had stepped out after the August crash, he would have missed Atlanta, missed Richmond. He'd have made the chase, might have been a little better off. But he didn't. He toughed it out, kept it to himself, like back in 2002. It took about 11 months before we found out that he'd had that bad crash at California and had a concussion. Concussions are cumulative. They can lead to Parkinson's. They can lead to all sorts of problems. Rusty Wallace says that he still gets dizzy every now and then when he shakes his head real hard after some of the crashes he's had. I think it's a serious issue, and it's certainly a bigger issue than qualifying for Saturday's 500 here. Dale Jr. out for at least 2 races, maybe the rest of the season, with a concussion. His second concussion of the year, his second in the last 6 weeks, and NASCAR's medical policies are on the line. Mike Mulhern from MikeMulhern.net, Charlotte Motor Speedway, ready for round 5 of the chase, but Dale Jr. is the big story today.